Ladies and gentlemen, it's Tito Clock. So please welcome your host, James Deacon.
That's me. Yeah, that's me. Woo! What's up, everybody? Welcome to Tito Clock. It's me, Tito James. Got X over there behind me. Got Y on the other side of the computer. And Z is all hanging around as well somewhere, ready to give us the headlines. Welcome to the show, everybody. I hope you're doing really well. I hope you guys are keeping your sanity because you know what? We still don't know when this is all going to end, inmates. So let's just try to keep as sane as possible. Spend the next hour together just keeping it nice and light and informative and educational. Nothing too triggered. You know, just get through the entire... Well, I can't promise nothing triggered because... Later on, Chris is probably going to show me some stuff in the inbox. I'm probably going to get triggered myself. So no promises there, but we'll try our best to keep it all smooth sailing all the way through till 6 p.m. And if we don't, you know what? We'll make up for it with an awesome raffle. Now, this is going to be like we've got so far at the top of my mind, let me remember, we got flowers from Island Rose, and those are really nice, fresh, locally sourced flowers and roses, red and white. Beautiful. Gonna make mom's day. We've also got breakfast in bed through this breakfast trays. That's really a nice surprise too for your mom. We've also got the Bizu stuff. I mean, Bizu, everyone loves Bizu. Bizu is a part of every milestone and celebration here. At least it has been for us. So, you know, we really love the Bizu stuff to be able to celebrate any kind of special occasion. And they're giving away some really nice cakes and sweet treats for your mom. And then lastly, we're going to end up with, it's a very special raffle prize because first time it's been done. It's a new delivery system or new delivery service, should I say, called Albert's Delivers. Right? Albert's Delivers. Now, what makes this special is this is really premium stuff. We'll talk about it a little bit later on when we draw it out, but Albert's is known for Albert's Steak Room. This is the most prestigious steak room in the country. Don't be fooled by imitations. Albert's Steak Room has been around forever. I think they celebrated this at 10 or 15. We'll ask later. I think it's definitely over 10 years. And same location. They're doing deliveries now, and somebody's going to walk away with their tomahawk steak, and they've also got some other bundles. They also offer the pizzeria stuff as well, which is going to be great. Okay, you know what? With all of that, I didn't get to greet all the first Tito Clockers. Let's just give a quick shout out. Did Mayan check in? All right, yep, she's there, right bang on 5 p.m. I went back through the comments. We've got Ben-Hur Visaya out there. We've got Quincy Bautista. Happy Friday to you, my friend. Randy Abenales. We have Jeff Federico. It's Tito James. He says, hey, Jeff, what's up? Good to have you here. Mirna Abarin, always on the show as well. It's weekend time. Miguel Delgado. Hey, guys, he says. And Herwin Padillo, meaning bike ride now. Woo! Finally, yeah, I'll join you there. I want to join you. I love riding my bike on the weekends. Especially now that we're starting to get a few more bike lanes. Now, they're not perfect. They're far from perfect, but it's a start. And guess what? Later on in the show, we're also going to be interviewing. We're having a guest on the show who's really somebody I truly look up to and admire. He is a landscape architect as well as one of our best urban planners that we have out there. He is phenomenal. He's done some exceptional work. We're going to be talking about the bike lanes, pedestrian lanes, and the various bridges that are being put up through the Pasig River, as well as a focus on the Pasig River Expressway. Now, he's not really a fan of the idea, so it's going to be interesting to hear what he has to say about it because, you know, initially it does look like on the surface a very good plan to reduce congestion, but he has a different point of view, and I want to hear him out because I think we'll all learn something from that. So that's all coming up later on in the show. In the meantime, let's check in to find out what is the latest in headlines? And for that, we need Chris. Chris, what you got there for us?
Hello, Tito James. Good afternoon, my fellow inmates. It's another sumptuous Friday. This is Chris for this week's dose of Tito Clock News. Health Secretary Francisco Duque III and Vaccine Czar Secretary Carlito Galvez Jr. were at the NAIA Terminal 2, Pasay City this morning to receive 1.5 million doses of the COVID-19 vaccine that the Philippines purchased from Chinese pharmaceutical company Sinovac. The vaccine package on board a Cebu Pacific plane from Beijing is part of the 25 million CoronaVac doses purchased by the national government. The number of CoronaVac doses delivered to the Philippines now rises to 5 million. They comprise 90% of all vaccines to be used by the country against COVID-19. Jabs from AstraZeneca and Russia's Sputnik V make up the remaining 10%. Galvez announced that the arrival in May 11 of the 193 doses of Pfizer BioNTech vaccine has a big chance of delay due to the COVID-19 surge in India. Galvez lowered the Philippines' vaccination target this year from 70 million to only 50 million out of the country's roughly 110 million population. As of Tuesday, May 4th, over 2 million doses have been administered. The Land Transportation Franchising and Regulatory Board, or LTFRB, announced last Thursday that under the Direct Cash Subsidy Program and the Department of Transportation, a total of 916 million and 58,000 pesos in subsidies have been handed over to public utility vehicle or PUV operators in April, bringing the distributed aid to 90.30% of the overall funds. LTFRB said that each operator received 6,500 pesos for every PUV unit under their franchise to help them after their livelihoods were hit hard because of the safety protocols. Those eligible for the cash aid includes operators of public utility buses, point-to-point buses, public utility jeepneys, minibuses, UV express vehicles, and fill cab units. LTFRB is still drawing up guidelines for the over-the-counter transactions and urged the public to wait for additional announcements in the next few days. The Direct Cash Subsidy is a program under the Bayanihan to Recover as One Act, or Bayanihan 2, which aims to provide financial aid to PUV operators who were affected by the government's measures to stem the spread of COVID-19. The International Olympic Committee, or IOC, announced that Pfizer and BioNTech will donate COVID-19 vaccine doses to Olympic athletes for the Tokyo 2020 Olympic Games scheduled for July. IOC said the national committees will work with local governments to coordinate distribution of the vaccines in accordance with each country's vaccination guidelines and consistent with local regulations. The committee encourages athletes to get vaccinated in their home countries before traveling to Japan to contribute to the safe environment of the Games and also out of respect for the residents of Japan. IOC added that any additional doses delivered by Pfizer and BioNTech will not be taken out of existing programs but will be in addition to existing quotas and planned deliveries around the world. IOC President Thomas Bach said that the vaccine donation is part of their toolbox of measures to help make the Olympic and Paralympic Games Tokyo 2020 safe and secure for all participants, as well as to show solidarity with our gracious Japanese hosts. Ben and Ben's first single from their upcoming sophomore album, Upuan, was released on streaming platforms today. Upuan was written in Dumaguete in 2019 when the band arrived at their hotel after a show. The song makes use of various images to depict what the band describes as the palpable romantic tension that arises from friendships that are formed by sitting next to each other and the adventurous conversations that ensue. It incorporated the band's signature folk pop style, punctuated by samples of birdsong, crashing waves, and rustling trees, adding a naturalist element to the arrangement. The band shared that the sound of Upuan
Alrighty, I think we lost Chris there for a little while. Chris, if you're out there, we lost you. Well, they did say there is a new telco in town, right? I don't know what your telco is, Chris, but if you come back, we'll let you finish off where you left off. And yeah, speaking of telcos, I noticed that even Bong Nebrijo is endorsing Ditto on his Facebook. I don't know if that's an official one or not, but lots of dramas there. Did you hear also that PLDT, Manny Pangilinan, said that the cause, well, bringing in new competition is only going to slow down internet speed? I wonder what he meant by that. Because Ernest Koo also jumped in and said well, it's a lot more. It's more than just about speed. And we're like, well, we'll just take speed if that's okay. I'm okay with speed. Yeah, it doesn't have to be. It can be all about speed for me. I'm fine with that. But I thought that was kind of interesting too. That we have these new carriers coming in and stuff like that. Probably something to do with where we lost Chris, or probably not. But you know what? If we don't get Chris back, we can always jump into Free Plug Friday. We'll give her a second though. There she is. There she is. She's back. Okay, let's see. All right, Chris, see if you can pick up where you left off.
I can go to the inbox.
Okay. I'm not sure if Chris can if Chris is still back with us now. Chris, you there? No? Okay. Well, while we're getting with that, Chris, maybe if we can pick up from the inbox, but we'll do that after Free Plug Friday, because it'll give us some time for you to get your internet connection back or whatever went wrong, and then we can get ourselves we can go into our Free Plug Friday, which is something that a lot of people look forward to here, because it's not only a great source of choices for you for stuff that you can get. More importantly, it helps other people get back on their feet, especially people who have had to pivot and do what they've had to do just to survive through this pandemic. And there's so many of them out there, and we just wanted to give them a little bit of a kickstart by having this little small segment that we call Free Plug Friday, where they can talk, or we can talk about their products and showcase it to a larger audience, and hopefully get some orders for them and kick things off. So with that, we need X. What you got the box there, X?
Hi, Tita James. We actually have a lot in store once again, but before we go there, I just want to say hi to all Tita Clockers. Welcome to another edition of Free Plug Friday. All right, feast your eyes on the screen. Tita James, let's start the Free Plug Friday with some hot burger buns from Hot Guy Burgers, Maginhawa, Quezon City. Hot Guy Burgers Maginhawa offers handcrafted burgers with guaranteed 100% beef quarter pounder patties in freshly baked buns, including their signature dressings and sauces. So Tita James, earlier they sent over their batites, which I believe has the onion rings, the barbecue sauce, the messy one. Ohana is love, the burger with pineapple, and bacon cheeseburger. Which one did you like among these, Tita James?
The bacon cheeseburger, Your Honor.
The batites.
Yeah, that was just, I rest my case, Your Honor.
I believe so, because I saw Rocket begging while you were having a bite earlier. Just look at him.
Stop basing it on Rocket. Rocket will eat anything.
He's so cute.
Look at him. Yes, I know. It's just, but yeah, it's not a good base. But yes,
Okay,
I will
How's the
have
burger?
to agree with it. It was very tasty. It was a little messy, but this is not. I would imagine it's a completely different experience when you eat that at the store, etc. So these were delivered here, and but the taste was really
taste.
good.
Well, too bad I can't try it because I don't eat beef and pork. But again, guys, hope you guys can check it out. Price starts at 100 pesos for their all-time favorite burgers, and price starts at 150 pesos for their premium burgers. Again, Hot Guy Burgers Maginhawa QC on Facebook and Instagram. Tita James, it looks like there's really a burger fever this week because we have another batch of burgers in the Tito Clock studio, this time from Wally Burger PH.
You can never have too many burgers.
No,
That's
you
why.
can't have
It's
too
like
many.
pizza,
Exactly.
pizza, burgers. My gosh, come on.
This goes on.
This is comfort food.
It is, especially now during a pandemic. You need all the comfort in the world while you're at home. Anyway, guys, Wally Burger PH originally started by two friends named Walliver and Chef Rachel since July 2020, and they offer real gourmet pretzel hamburgers that are built from scratch, including the buns, Tita James, which are always break fresh off the oven hourly. How did you find their garlic aioli sauce, Tita James? It's the one you had. Really.
Firstly, let me start with the bun, because
The bun.
the buns are different,
Okay,
and
okay.
this is what will make it stand out for most people. That pretzel bun is different, and it was delicious. It was a nice take on the burger. So, but even before I get into the alioli and the sauce, etc., you have got to have the fundamentals right.
Yes.
The bun and the beef.
The bun and the beef.
And the
Those
bun
are
and the
like
beef.
fundamentals.
Fundamentals were
Base,
awesome.
base, yeah.
Really good. So you could already start with that. They had a good foundation. I could have been eating it just on that and been happy.
Wow.
But the alioli added that extra bit of oomph. And so it's a really good burger.
Tita James, I see you literally having a big bite.
And you know what? What's nice about this? If you're taking it out, right, which is how we did it.
Yeah.
It lasts a little bit longer because the bun is a little not harder. That's not the
Firm?
word. Yeah, firmer. Yeah, it doesn't.
It held itself. Yeah.
Yeah, so it doesn't get as soggy as fast. So that's something to keep in mind. And especially if there's loaded with sauce and stuff like that.
Oh
like
yeah,
this
like
is.
look at that.
But look, try it. Just the fact that it's on a pretzel bun and the beef is really good is already going to make it worthwhile to try. It's different.
Yes, let's check it out. Too bad I don't eat burgers, but I did get to try their wings, which are a combination of the Korean and buffalo flavor, as well as their pretzel mini buns. So that's like a small version of the buns that you have in your burgers. But this one truly hit the spot, so I agree with you on that. Guys, price starts at 120 pesos for the classic burger and 249 pesos for the Wally burgers, meaning it has 2 beef patties, which is the one Tito James had. It's 150 pesos for the mini buns and 130 pesos for every 4 pieces of chicken wings. Hope you can check them out. Wally Burger PH on Facebook and Instagram. Tito James, what else could be more perfect than having a beer together with those burgers?
Raffle!
No!
Oh, sorry, it's just by default. What's better? Having a beer.
Exactly, Tito J. So, Buzania is an online beer store that offers imported beers, and they sent over 2 different types of whole garden. Because I'm very intrigued with the ones they send, because they send over a different type of whole garden
Look at
flavor.
that. Yeah, that's
Jay.
the first time I've seen that.
Same here.
I'm familiar with whole garden beer, the brand, and not that though. Raspberry?
Raspberries frozen.
After the show.
Yeah, too bad I can't try it since I'll be driving right after 8 o'clock.
Yeah,
Gotta
don't
be
do that.
responsible. Maybe if you could
I'll take
allow
one for
me.
the team.
Okay, you
I'll
can
take
take
one for
one.
the team after the show.
Does it mean that I can have a bottle?
I'll tell you all about it.
Oh, okay,
Yeah,
guess not.
I'll describe it in full detail.
Wow. Thanks a lot, Tito James. Okay, I got the signal. I got what you mean. Anyway, guys, ouch. They also offer other brands like Beck's, Hollander, Crazy Carabao, Guinness, Murphy's, Stella Artois, and these are all perfect for your next inuman sessions with friends and family. Anyway, guys, hope you can check them out. Buzania on Facebook and Instagram. Next, let's go organic with Hin11 Farms. Hin11 Farms offers sustainable food items such as the Adelaide rice, coffee beans, and grounds, turmeric capsules, and raw honey. So, Tito James, have you ever tried Adelaide before?
Yes, I do. I have, and I love Adelaide because it is a very healthy. Well, maybe tomato, I guess. It's healthier. It is a great alternative to rice. So if you're looking to lose some weight or you want to be a little healthier, Adelaide is a very good replacement for rice.
Wow, that's really interesting. Try it. And apart from that, Tito James, they also sent in turmeric, yes, Tito James, and raw honey as well.
Turmeric's got some really good properties in it. Like,
antiviral.
Isn't it the same that we in that juice?
Drinking, yeah.
Yeah, I've been drinking this juice in the morning every morning.
How do you feel?
Really good, and
that has honey too.
And some people have said, "Have you lost a little weight?" Which is what it's supposed to be for, the turmeric. So anything now, I'm a turmeric fan. Turmeric capsules, that looks good.
Yes, Tito James,
Raw
and
honey.
There's something even better, Tito James. Why don't we?
Well, there's only one way to make it better.
Raffle time! All right, guys. All you need to do is leave a comment below here during Tito Clock, and we'll draw out one gift pack that includes everything that we just mentioned: the Adelaide, coffee beans and grounds, turmeric capsules, and raw honey. Anyway, guys, hope you win. Good luck. Again, Hin11 Farms on Facebook and Instagram. Next, we go to Scents and Mixes. So Scents and Mixes are makers of perfumes that are inspired by popular scents out there in the market, Tito James. They offer inspired scents like Banana Republic, Escape, Aqua de Gio, and the price starts at 350 pesos for a 65 ml bottle. Anyway, guys.
You know what they say about common sense? Not so common after all.
Whoops.
Ooh, there you go, a little fun. But that's why you want something special, not just common. You want something extra special.
Exactly.
So there you go. Scents and Mixes. You can check them out on
Facebook and Instagram, Scents and Mixes. Last but not least, we go to Rwb Artworks. So Rwb Artworks started in 2016 by an artist named Ralph Villaluz. right after he graduated from college, Tito James. So just look at some of his commission pieces, Tito James.
Does he specialize in flowers?
He actually does specialize in. Well, he said his love for nature transforms into artwork.
Okay,
So
and he does watercolor.
He does watercolor, acrylic, and
Okay.
oil paintings, Tito James.
Well, hey, no, that's not that. There's a chair there. I mean, that's a. So there's a little nature, but a little. Nice. I like it.
Look at the detail, Tito James. Anyway, guys, for those who are interested, price depends on the medium and the size. But just to give an idea, watercolor paintings start at 10K. Acrylic starts at 15K and oil painting starts at 20K. Anyway, hope you can check him out and support him. Rwb Artworks on Facebook and Instagram. Well, that's all we have for this week's edition of Free Plug Friday. Stay safe and always sanitize the clockers. This is X. Peace out. Happy weekend. Bye.
Woo!
Woo!
Bye.
Mabuhay kayo.
Boy, go. Thanks, X. All right, that's X with Free Plug Friday and the latest stuff out there. So I hope you find something you like, something you think is worth getting, because every time you do, you help out a fellow local, fellow countryman who's going through probably what you're going through as well. So let's just help each other out as much as we can. Now, let's check in to see if is Chris back with us? You think Chris can handle this time, or Chris's internet, is it powerful enough? Let's give it a try. What you got there, Chris?
Hey, Tito James, I'm so sorry. Looks like my internet didn't want me to show you the inbox. I just negotiated my way back. Told them you needed them. So I told them you needed to see them. All right. Looks like we lost Tito James for a little bit. So we're gonna be showing you some of the things that you sent us through our inbox. And I am so sorry because my internet, you know how Philippine internet is, and I don't know if they wanted me to show you the inbox, but here we are. This is called the motorcycle lane. So let's play that video right there. Yeah, I'm not sure how Tito James is reacting right now. I'm pretty sure he's going mad. And I don't know how to react to this either, because as Filipinos, we're pretty much pasaway.
All right there, Chris. We're just working. You know, after
Hi, Tito James.
telling you that you didn't pay your bill or something like that, I got cut off too. No, I'm serious. Look, X is holding up the laptop, and we're trying to desperately reconnect here. Welcome to Tita Clock Live, everybody. This is how we roll.
Yeah.
I love you, but so can't really see you yet. Okay, I see a motorcycle.
Yes.
Okay, I see a motorcycle entering my broadcast studio, so maybe I might get in here.
It's called the motorcycle lane, Tito James.
Okay.
Enter first.
All right.
Okay. Not sure if he's back or if he got disconnected again. Or maybe I got disconnected. All right, Tito James, I can't hear you.
Okay, I'm in. We're here.
Oh, there you go.
There you go.
Woo! Technology! Please cooperate.
They say 90% of comedy is the timing, and I guess we just totally screwed up the timing here, right? So I'm pretty sure it was funny. It was just like, okay, so we've got a kamote on the bike lane. Is that
Yes.
we got many kamotes. Oh my
I
gosh.
know.
This is becoming somewhat of it's beyond the joke already. I mean, I remember posting this when they first opened the bike lanes. I thought, oh, this is going to be 1 or 2 days, and then they're gonna, it's just because it's new. Well, no, it's been over a couple of months now, probably more, and it's just getting worse. So this is why we can't have nice things.
I know.
Yeah.
Should we have the MMDA always guard these things, or
no way? I mean, like, I ride a lot on EDSA. I try to ride, especially on the weekends. I go around and I inspect bike lanes, and I just enjoy going around and seeing what they've got out there. And no, they don't. And I see some MMDA, but they're not stopping these guys, and there's just probably too many of them. I don't know, but it doesn't make it right. Still, you gotta.
Yes.
But anyway, I'm trying to pace myself. See, I'm not pacing myself because I know the inbox can get long, and I know I can get stressed. So that's what we got next.
Okay, we have the Angkas 3.0.
Okay, what's this? Angkas 3.0.
It's not that guy.
There you go. Standing room only.
Yes.
It's like the bus says about you have the people who have to stand and the people who get the seats, right? So yeah, this parang ganon, it's the standing room version of Angkas.
At hindi pa naka-helmet si ate.
Pero. Wait. Now that I can see that, this is one of, if it's one of those unique ones. Ate is sitting on a seat. You know this? Okay, yeah, go back a little bit. See, she's on the seat. It's one of those stand-up scooters with a seat on it. It's really a stand-up scooter, but this one you can see Ate sitting on the seat and then somebody standing in front of her. I ride one of these too. It's not a good idea to do this. Trust me, it's not a good idea. One, they're not designed to carry that much weight, and that's not throwing shade at anybody because these two look fine. It's designed to carry one person. And if you've ever ridden one of these, they're so hard to operate because of the tires are usually this big. So one little bump in the road, your center of gravity is just all off. It can end in disaster. Don't do this. Don't do this if you have a scooter like this. It's not designed for two people.
Yeah, please listen to Tito James, everybody.
Tito James went vector mode straight away. Okay, go.
All right, now let's go to the Need for Speed. They're so inspired by the upcoming movie called Maverick.
Okay, these are these kamote. Okay, this. Calm down.
Breathe.
Okay, I'm breathing because this is such a pet hate of mine, right? It's a pet hate, and it's a film. I find it to be like some kind of a phenomenon, right? We will go out of our way to like arrest people for the most ridiculous things, right? Of making a mistake, of not wearing the mask properly is the latest one. If you have your mask falls under your nose, I know it's annoying, but to arrest somebody for it is, a little extreme. Now, the only reason I use that in this example is you cannot have a double standard like that, where you're going to literally, we know of how many cases where they'll arrest you for not wearing a face shield, or at least fine you or create havoc for you. But yet somebody can literally advertise a far more threatening crime, because it is a crime. You're breaking the law. And not only is nothing done about it, they're making money off this, because their blogs are escalating their hits, they're getting their views, they're getting, and they get paid for that. And the LTO and our other authorities just sit there and do nothing. I know they do nothing because I send these things to them. I send these things to them and say, can you send them a something like a not warrant, but a subpoena, a show cause order, something. And you know what? Sometimes they would say to me, they would go, we can't be really sure that that's them. So the evidence is like this because they said, because they might say that somebody else posted. I said, okay, I see where you're going. But if you yell out bomb in an airport, guess what? You're locked up.
Get arrested. Yes.
The threat alone, the joke alone is already a crime. This is the same thing, because you are threatening people and their safety with a weapon of mass destruction, because a vehicle traveling at this speed in the wrong hands is a weapon of mass destruction. You can kill a lot of people with that in one hit. It changes just like that. I get very angry about this because this is public safety. This is not about you. This is about the people that you kill on the road. And no kamot ulo is going to ever bring somebody back. And I've just seen it firsthand. I've been in the back of an ambulance where I've spent a week in the back of an ambulance 7 years ago. We went around Manila, and I would just see what it was like for these guys, what a day in the life of an ambulance driver was. And you would see and witness accidents and the carnage that you would witness, the damage for the family. Like you would see when the family would show up to the hospital or something, and it's, you don't want to be there. Trust me, don't want to be there. That's why it's such a sore point with me, or I get very angry about it, because it's like, if you had to see a family that's just lost a loved one from a senseless accident on the road, an avoidable one, you don't have any tolerance for this as well. And I just can't get it. Sorry, I'm going to go into a slightly little rant mode. I don't get it, because how can we have such a double standard about things that, you know, are trivial by comparison to driving a car at 200 kilometers an hour on a public road? You see these bikes doing it. You see these cars doing it. I'm going to just leave it there because this is not going to end. So I may as well end nicely now. I think you got my point.
Yes, everybody got your point, Tito James. Ang pulso, everybody's saying, Tito James, ang puso mo, ang dugo,
All right.
breathe. Let's all fry the kamotes because it's good for merienda. One of our inmates said. All right, let's go to the next one. The next one is called Dogs on the Roof. So some people might get triggered, especially for parents.
Yeah. I don't know how many more we have to post like this before they get the hint. This is the fastest way to get canceled on the internet, because it's universally hated. You know, it's not like one of those things that, you know, it's like, this is a universally hated thing. So please, if you know anyone that does this, or you do this, just don't. You don't, please. There's just nothing more I have to say. Don't do this. If you can't treat your pet like a member of the family, don't get one. They're not an accessory. They're not a security system. They are a member of the family. I mean, look at Rocket. He ain't protecting anyone from anything. He ain't no security dog. He's literally just a spoiled little member of the family. That's the point. If you're gonna have a pet, treat them like a member of the family. Please don't. If you wouldn't put your kid on the roof, don't put your dog on the roof, please.
Yes, please. Take care of your pets, guys. All right. We have two more. Number 5 is called Discipline.
Okay, better be. I'm warning you, Chris. What are we looking at here? What am I triggered at it here? How can I? How does this victimize me? Ay! It's a police. I'm on the bike way. I'm walking out. Oh my gosh. You know, I posted something similar to that the other day. I posted something similar, and the caption I said was, "This is not what we meant when we asked for protected bike lanes. That's not what we meant by putting a police car there. No." Okay.
And I was just asking you a while ago.
Protected bike lanes is something we will be discussing with our next guest, the very famous Paulo Alcazaren. But this is not a protected bike lane, having a police car blocking everybody, right? Chris, you got one chance to redeem yourself. One last chance to redeem yourself.
I don't think I can. Because the last one poses the question. The last one poses the question of, is this allowed?
What is that he's on the where is he?
I think it's going to Kalayaan or overpass.
Yeah, that looks like the Buendia overpass.
Yeah.
The short this is okay. This is tricky. It's not a sensible thing to do. Okay, let's just get that out of the way. It's not a sensible thing to do. Having said that, the only reason I'm pausing and hesitating is we do not have clear guidelines around these guys yet. Excuse me. That's not their fault. Okay, I've said this for a long time. We have to develop these programs. If we want to influence the behavior of getting onto these types of things, or into scooters, bicycles, etc., we need to influence that behavior through urban design. It's actually a very timely thing, because we do have an urban designer coming up, our urban planner coming up right after you, to talk about various things, and we'll ask his opinion about this. But this is a legitimate mode of transport in certain parts of the city. Not all, right? Not all. So you have to make the guidelines clear so they know where to use them. It's easy to hate on this guy and go, "Hoy, kamote, gago, tanga." But how are you going to blame him? There's nothing saying whether, it's regulated to wear a helmet with it. Common sense would tell you it, but I'm just being, you can't just expect to run a country on common sense. You need to have clear guidelines and rules. And that's what we don't have with these guys. So I wish we could finally, because it's growing, the space is growing, and this could be seen as a solution rather than a problem if we do have the proper infrastructure for them. But left to their own devices, well, what do you think this guy's going to do? If it's the closest way to get to Makati, how else is he going to get to Makati from BGC? So he's going to have to go down to the Guadalupe area there. He's going to have to go under the bridge, and then he's going to have to get to the JP Rizal area to find
a long way.
So when you're on a scooter that size, that's an extra 20, 30 minutes in the sun that you do not want to spend, right? This is why he will just, the shortest distance between 2 points is a straight line. And if that straight line happens to be an overpass, why am I going into lecture mode already? Somebody end this misery. I'm getting triggered. But you get my point, right? It's easy to hate on the guy and say, "Hoy," but we got to cut them some slack because they also don't know. They just don't know.
Yes.
There are no guidelines for them to develop that space of e-scooters.
Yes, that's true. But I hope somebody does work on this one. Now you can breathe, Tito James. We've come to the last one. That was the last bucket.
Okay,
Yeah, and take some water. Thank you, Tito James. Thank you so much. Thank you, everybody, for bearing with me and my internet. Let's all have a be awesome weekend. This is Chris reminding everyone again and again, eat camotes, but don't be one. Always choose happiness, stay safe, healthy, and hydrated. See you guys. Bye, Tito.
All right, Chris. Thanks for that. Really appreciate it. All right, that was Chris with the latest in headlines. And yep, we chewed in a little bit into our time because of a few little tech problems. So we're going to get straight into our next guest. Our next guest is the very famous, extremely respected, one of my idols, an urban planner as well as a landscape architect. He is basically all that separates us from having a beautiful metro. At least that's my opinion. Please welcome up the one and only Paulo Alcazaren. Oh,
wow.
You got the music. You got the intro music. Yep, that's how special you are.
Wow, that's a great improvement from the last year.
Oh, the last time I think it was a live band, right? It was
it?
It was just X doing this. It was like, yeah. Now we have production music. We have a raffle dog. We have a set. Welcome.
Although one change is I have to greet you as hi, Tito James.
Yes, of course.
Where did the Tito come in?
It's a long story, but basically I could see the pendulum swinging that way. People were already calling me Tito, and I thought there's two ways to handle this. You could try to fight it. You could go kicking and screaming, or you could just submit yourself to it, preempt it, and just, you know what, I'll take on the handle of Tito Manila. I don't care. And so it kind of stuck with that, and Tito Clock just became, well, what time is it? It's Tito Clock.
Yes.
Anytime you're on the air, it's Tito Clock. So that's the short backstory around that. And if anyone's wondering what we're talking about, Paulo Alcazaren is talking about the first time he joined the podcast was when we first started last year. Mm-hmm. So we were in the middle of a pandemic. We had like cardboard cutouts there. I mean, we were really kenkoy. Not that we're not kenkoy now, but we're just a little bit less kenkoy than we were before. And so thank you for noticing that. For the ones who have joined us, the reason I've asked Paulo to come on the show is because our conversation last time was so bitin. And I've been noticing there's a lot of new development happening with this build. And we're all sold on the idea that this is a great thing for the country, but there is a limit to it. And that's what I wanted to talk to you about. It's not just about building roads. And I did touch on it before you came on board as we opened the show. I did prime the audience by saying that majority of what we'll talk about will be the Pasig River Expressway. because it's a massive, massive project that's being pitched by San Miguel. And I believe RSA has the greatest of intentions.
Yeah.
I'm a huge fan of what he's done, but I very much see your point. Now, would you please share your concern about what bothers you about the Pasig River Expressway?
Well, first, kudos to RSA and San Miguel for initiatives like some of the infra connectivity is built and is almost completing, like MRT 7, which is really good to complete our light rail or our rail system, mass transport rail system. What we need in this metropolis is really a comprehensive and connected rail system. So that's very good. And some of the connectivity infra is put forward is also good. But the Pasig is a little different. And it really is a turning point. If we make the decision, if it moves forward, then we may have to reverse ourselves in the future once we realize that it won't be the best thing for the metropolis to have an elevated along our primary river. It's a historic river. It's a river that has a lot of potential in terms of how it could connect the city, more than just the benefits of the east-west connectivity that he's proposing that this Parex would bring. There are other ways for the Pasig to reach its potential as a connector, as a seam, rather than something that separates the north of the river from the south, which is what it is now. The big problem with the Pasig is that, unlike other rivers in other cities or progressive cities, we have very few river crossings or bridges compared to places like Singapore or Paris or any of the great cities or even Bangkok. And connectivity for a metro would be increased if we just bring up the number of bridges. Although I don't agree with the Binondo Bridge myself, the other bridges are okay. And we have to have more. Right now, the Pasig River is 25 kilometers, but we have a bridge only every 1.2 kilometers apart. Where in cities like Singapore, although the Singapore River is much shorter at 4 kilometers, you have a bridge every 200 or 300 meters between each bridge, and half of the 20 plus bridges 17 bridges in Singapore are pedestrian bridges. So the Pasig River as an opportunity for connectivity and mobility in the city, its full potential is really in connecting both sides of the river by vehicular and pedestrian bridges, rather than covering it up with an elevated freeway, as is the proposal. And talking about elevated freeways, what progressive cities in all of the world have found out is that these elevated freeways don't really do much to relieve the area of traffic congestion. Again, I have to bring back the principle of induced demand, or some other people would bring in the principle of the brace principle, which says that the more you add to road capacity, the more traffic it will bring. So induced demand states that counterintuitively, if we add more roads to a congested road or roadway, the effect will be really to increase congestion rather than decrease it. Of course, it's more complex than just that. One would have to ensure that people have options for a road network to work, or the vehicular system to work. That's the Chongyechong River in Seoul. What you're projecting now is, it used to be covered by an elevated, which was not contributing to mobility in the city at all. So the mayor decided to tear it down. And now you have one of the most visited places. It's in Seoul, and it's also increased the property values in the area. The same is from the other images that you showed earlier, which is Boston. The Big Dig is also an elevated. You had San Francisco that also tore down its Embarcadero freeway. Actually, that's the Embarcadero. It was actually the earthquake, the Loma earthquake, in the 1980s or 90s that damaged it. And so when they tore it down and brought back the ground level streetscape and open spaces, that revived the entire district. So what other cities have learned from elevateds is that they don't really contribute to decongestion of road networks, and they end up adding congestion rather than reducing it. Now, of course, there would be some elevateds that are justified, but not all, and that definitely not an intensive freeway system as was proposed even in New York, and which was shut down. And that's why you have Battery Park, and you have. So the lesson is that we appear to be pursuing a strategy of a default strategy of elevated skyways, when it's so 1980s, it's so 1970s, and everyone else are tearing down roads, and especially elevated roads, and addressing transport issues from a larger context of providing mobility and access, moving people instead of cars. So that's it in short.
Okay. Well, I'm glad that you brought up the you call it the Braze paradox, right?
Yes.
And
After
it's
the German,
okay,
after the German mathematician. So it's really something that's database. It's not made up. Even the principle of induced demand is already been validated by traffic engineers, and it's now taught as a matter of fact. So I'm not saying that our traffic and transport engineers need to go back to school, but yes, maybe we need to understand that not everything can be solved by road widening, and road widening is really the last thing that you could do. It's knee jerk. It's stopgap, and you will find that no matter how wide you widen a road, there will not be any additional width that can compensate, that can solve the problem. It's really something else.
The best way that it was, I like to explain it to people is like, and this is not for every road. And I think Paulo explained this, that there are certain roads, especially if they're connecting, let's say, north to south and bypassing this is the metro, just like the Skyway, I think was a good example of how you link up north and south and you're bypassing the most congested part. So, but generally speaking, as a rule, what Paulo's trying, just to bring you up to speed, is it's like buying a bigger belt to solve your weight problem.
Yes, trying to solve gluttony by loosening your belt,
or getting a larger belt. Yes, it's not.
Getting a larger belt.
You're literally attracting more cars, and then at some point, because we got to converge down at one level, which is one dimensional. So from all these elevated skyways, we all converge to the ground level. We just don't fit. This is why Elon Musk has been. His solution is to go underground, because we need to create
his hyperloop.
His hyperloop philosophy is because we're living in a very three-dimensional world. We're living in high rises and basements and stuff, but our transport system is mostly one level, one-dimensional, especially when he talks about LA and stuff like that.
Yeah, so I like Elon Musk, but I don't agree with hyperloop. I mean, you don't have to go high-tech, because most of the solutions to these problems don't really involve high-tech. It's just making sure that people have intermodal access to different modes of transport. That's walking, biking, and mass transport. You don't have to go hyper. to solve. The problem that he's trying to solve is something to counter the bigger problem of how LA has evolved in the last 50 years. So it's a big problem of land use planning rather than
Yeah.
than roads and car
Roads.
networks. It's really land use planning. So what we're trying to do is to solve a bigger mistake, which is how we built our cities. We built Metro Manila in the last 50 years. And again, we don't learn the lessons from the West. We keep on replicating the solutions that have failed them in the last 20, 30 years. That is partly elevated skyways and such. And reliance on this whiz-bang high-tech things that just take too long to put in, and they really just have to go down to the basics: proper land use planning, proper urban design, and giving people options rather than just car-based transport. So, like Iloilo is the best city to have prepared itself for the pandemic, in that it invested in the public realm with an esplanade by the river, and now and we had designed it to accommodate bikes, and it has the biggest bike system of any city in the Philippines today. So everybody can get anywhere in Iloilo, and the city and the Ilonggos themselves have continued to improve the basic stuff that we put in. So they themselves are tweaking all of these interventions with transition ramps for bikes, with more segregation of protected lanes for bikeways. And it's being done because the mayor's on board, everyone's on board, because they see that it works. So I think there's lots of lessons to learn from Iloilo. And they have not abandoned their river. Just imagine if they had put an elevated, of course, they're 1/10 the size of Metro Manila, and they don't really need it or have any cost to look for this type of interventions. But they have ensured with their esplanade, which is now 7.5 kilometers, that the river is protected. But at the same time, they're looking at mobility and transport for the entire Metro Iloilo.
Well, this is what you're looking at here is designed by your firm, right? You were
Yes.
the master planner of this. So
Yeah.
as we only have a few minutes left, I'll end with this question: If not the Pasig River Expressway, because just to start, pick up where I started, I do think RSA has the best intentions, but yes, I think that perhaps this is just one where he might have not been maybe advised correctly.
Yes,
How would you advise him to spend that money? I mean, if it just assume that his intentions are great, like with everything he's done for us, the country, how would you advise him to spend this money if he still said, look, I just want to help and fix the Pasig River? How would you allocate?
Well, the systems that he's building are all supposedly connected. Well, they are planned to be connected, but a lot of this system that he and Metro and all the others involved in the MRT, LRT, and even the subway. The thing is, they all have good intentions. I would like to see a much more coordinated context for the solution of our transport problems than just knee-jerk low-hanging fruit. And the Pasig River was seen as a low-hanging fruit because it addresses the biggest problem in all of this, which is right-of-way access. So because in the Philippines, it's very hard to institute eminent domain, which is used in Hong Kong and Singapore for their infra. Their infra is much more integrated and makes more sense because they can enforce eminent domain. That means if they need the right of way, they will get the right of way, and you don't have any choice because it's the greater good for the greater number. But here we have too many lawyers to protect the rights of individual lot owners, and so it takes 20 years to get the right of way. And so even if that road is really needed, it takes just too long. So the Pasig River offered an opportunity for instantly no problem with right of way. But you lose the river, you lose the historicity of the river, you lose the culture of being near the water. You lose a jewel of the city when we've lost almost everything else. I don't think we can afford to lose the Pasig. And the Pasig itself, like I said, has more opportunities. I hope that he could use the 80 or 90 billion that he has for improving the bridges, like I propose here, so that they have pedestrian access, for developing both sides of the Pasig River into a 25-kilometer long double-sided linear parkway. That would give Manila the equivalent in area of the Central Park in New York, if he went and developed the 10-meter easements on both sides of the 25-kilometer Pasig.
But as a businessman, how would he recoup that?
Of course.
I can see the problem now. He's just like, what your solution is, it has to come from government, because there's no rational, sane businessman that would invest that with no possible return.
Yes, the only corporation that could benefit from such an investment is a corporation of the metropolis. In other countries, cities and metropolises are considered city corporations, and their intent is to provide profit for themselves, which is for the citizens of that metropolis or that city. Mr. Ang has Ramon Ang has so many other opportunities for business all over the country. I don't think he will lack for any opportunities in any other places. He's got 24 other projects, all of which will make him and his corporation and his stakeholders money. But this one, and he should be congratulated for his projects. But this one maybe not. I don't think that we can afford, because once it's gone, it would be very hard to get it back, and we have lost the opportunity. Like you said, it's only if we thought of ourselves as a metropolis as a collaborative combination of all of these LGUs within Metro Manila, that we can invest in the public realm of Pasig River, that we can also align the DPWH to connect across rather than cover up. We have the opportunity. He can build. I don't know, but the only problem is you cannot charge toll every time you cross a bridge. But theoretically, you could do that. You can do
advertising. Might be one model.
Because you have 2,000 more bridges you can build on the Pasig. Maybe the out-of-the-box thinking is that he shares in the road tax that we can levy on all users. Yes,
or have some kind of not so offensive looking advertisements, because that's big money. I remember him telling me personally that he was willing to take over underneath all those skyways that he doesn't own. He's willing to maintain that area just in return for the advertising that he can get from the columns. So there's obviously a model there. Now, obviously, as a landscape architect, you're probably going to see some problems with lots of billboards. I get that. But
that's fine.
We can do a class of it.
No, I'm sorry, but once you get too much, you'll be information overload. It just all becomes white noise. I mean, somebody should tell him that the effectivity of too much advertising is that you get numb to all of that, and
like Guadalupe. I'll only remember maybe one billboard there because it's really big, but the rest gets kind of drowned out, So,
the best outdoor advertising comes in cities that have allowed it only in certain places, and so the impact of those advertising is much better than just 1,000 of the same face looking down on you. It's really it's the Brace paradox. It's induced demand again even for advertising. It's overkill. And there's so much you're trying to whip a dead horse by pursuing that line. I think somebody should advise him better.
Well, Paulo, I could talk to you all night and all day, but we have a raffle that we have to get to before 6 p.m. So
what are you raffling off
there? Oh, we're raffling off a bunch of stuff for Mother's Day. We've got like Elbert's steak room stuff. That's really nice.
Elbert. Yes, I miss this.
I know, right? It's like, and now they offer deliveries too. So they have Elbert's delivery, so you can get a tomahawk steak for your mom. So they're doing that. He's got his pizza in there. We've got flowers from Island Rose.
Yeah.
We've also got Bizu stuff. If many people are going to walk away very happy today. So we got to
Yes.
we got to do that raffle. We thank you so
Wonderful.
much for joining us.
No
I want
problem.
to have
Call
you
me.
again very soon because I really
Sure.
want to do an extended version of this. We didn't even scrape the top of the iceberg here. But
Yeah,
thank
we
you
have
for
to talk
joining
about
us.
the ferries. We have to talk about the ferries
Exactly.
and
Exactly.
riding on the river. And the biggest problem, just as a teaser, the biggest problem of ferries and river transport in Manila is Malacanang.
I heard.
It's cheaper to move Malacanang and
Then
get the benefit. Yeah, and I had proposals where to move Malacanang and how to redevelop the San Miguel district. It's a wonderful place. Again, we'll leave it for next time.
Can we move Malacanang out of the country? No. All right, Paulo, I'll leave it there before I get in a lot more trouble.
Okay.
Thank you very much for joining us. Everybody knows what's next. It is. Where's the raffle, Rob? What's up, right? All right. We got very beginning, super beginning. We got music around here. Yeah. Oh, no, he's licking the earpod now. Okay. All right. So Rocket the Raffle Dog is ready. We've got all of our raffles ready. We're a little bit over time, but that's okay, right, Rocket? You want to? Oh, Rocket. He's. Oh. Okay. First up, X, we've got the Hinaleban, which is like all these real nice organic goodies like Adlay or Adlai and some coffee grounds. It's a nice basket. Okay, Rocket. Are you ready? I want you to press that button, Rocket. 1, 2, 3. Wait. There you go. Rocket. Okay, Rocket. Next one. Let's bring up the camera. Yeah, there you go. Focus.
Which one do you want next?
You know, whatever comes up, Rocket's just in the mood right now to win something or to make somebody win something. This is for Bizu. Bizu, beautiful cakes that they're offering. We got 3 of them to give away. There's like a Charlotte. There's which one?
Strawberry cake.
Strawberry cake. Really nice stuff. All right, ready? Oh, you're tired now. No? I guess he's like, he's not entertained. Oh, I love you, Rocket. Mike says, we love you too. Oh, I Rocket. Anyone? That is. Look at the Japanese name. Okay, not gonna try and pronounce that one, but if you see your name there, congratulations. Next up, we got
Bouquet breakfast in bed.
Okay, these are bouquets from Island Rose, which is a locally grown local company that gets locally sourced roses as well. Beautiful stuff, and also a breakfast tray as well, which is really, really nice. You ready, Rocket? So your mom's going to wake up to breakfast in bed with roses, right? Or they're 2 separate. Are they 2 separate?
Yeah, they are. Each of them.
Okay, so you win either the breakfast or the flowers.
No, they both.
They're together. So somebody who wins the flowers and the breakfast. It pays to discuss these things before we go in there, but Rocket, press the button.
Wait, let me check.
No, it's okay. I know you're right. I'm sure you're right. No, you're right. You're right. We did it in one. You're right. And it's okay. You're fine.
All right, let's go. All right, clear your camera first.
There you go. Come on. Autofocus. There you go. All right. You ready?
Rocket, let's go. His foot.
He's like, all right, I'm starting to get bored of this. I'm feeling exploited. That's one. That's one. Breakfast in bed with the bouquet. Come on, Rocket. Come on, Rocket. You pick one. Come on, Rocket. You can do it, Rocket. Pick out some names, Rocket. All right. That was for the Island Rose with the breakfast in bed. Really nice. And then the last one will be Albert's Steak Room with Albert's Pizzeria. Oh, this is premium stuff. Wow. You know, if you haven't been to Albert's Steak Room before, it is so premium. It's in this nondescript looking building, but don't let that fool you because people, it's become like a cult because it's so good. And it's actually, I mean, I love it. Anyway, hope you win it so you can try it. Ready? Because these are real premium steaks and it can get a little pricey, you know, depending on your budget. So if you win it, this is awesome. Last one, Rocket. Okay, Rocket. I bet Rocket rigs this one for him. There you go. Back to the pizza, Rocket. What about the steaks? What about the steaks? I know you like your steak. Oh, dinner. And when it's Rocket! Now you know the raffle aren't rigged because if they could be rigged, Rocket would definitely rig this for himself. The first and only Rocket or raffle that he would probably go out of his way to. Is that it?
That's it.
That was it?
Yeah.
All right, Rocket, you've done a great job. Thank you very much for say goodbye to everybody. All right, so Rocket there saying bye, everybody. Oh, 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 bye, everybody. Okay, Rocket, off you go. So that's pretty much it, ladies and gents. I really wish I had more time for this one because of especially talking to Paulo Alcazaren. I mean, it just got off to such a. I mean, he's got so much knowledge. So, you know, we only just scratched the surface of what I really wanted to know. So maybe next time we'll do a whole hour. It'll be worth it because this is a guy that doesn't just, you know, talk the talk, right? He really does walk the walk. He did that Iloilo development along the Esplanade. And it look at it. I mean, it's put them on the map, and for all the right reasons too. I think what I wanted to get across here, I wanted to really hear from him, is I wanted him to explain to us, as an urban planner, as a landscape architect, that it's not a waste of money to create open spaces. You see, there's a fallacy or a misconception that when you have open spaces without businesses and stuff like that, or tollways, that you're going to be losing money. It's a waste of land space. That's how a lot of people think. But if you create that space, it creates value for the property and in turn draws more people to it. The more people that go there, the more money is spent there, not necessarily on that particular, let's say, grassy part, but all the businesses around it. So imagine if you did the whole Pasig River and you made the Pasig River banks the way that he envisions it or the way that he would like to see it, which is cycleways, cycle paths, walking, a few more pedestrian bridges, cycle bridges across the Pasig River and stuff like that. You would see so much activity happening along the banks of the river, which would then create the development around the banks of the river, which would then clean up the river itself because there would be value to it. And you start off this chain reaction in all the right direction. That's what I really wanted to hear from him, because he can explain it, I guess, as an urban planner and give some examples of, let's say, well, one of them that he showed was the one in Korea. The picture that he showed where they removed the elevated skyway and then they put the new area there, which is for pedestrians and stuff. So many more people came there. So it's the idea of moving people and not cars, because the idea in a car-centric culture like ours is the more cars you move around, the better. It's not. You want to move people. And people are only moving in cars here because it's been biased towards cars. And this is coming from a car owner and somebody who travels in a private car. I have every reason to say, yip, 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 yeah, favor us. But we're only about 12% of the total transportation requirements here. And we get up a bulk of the infrastructure. I don't think that's very fair. And I think that's the point that Paulo Alcazaren is trying to make, is that we need to prioritize the people who either, if we can move them in greater numbers, like through walking and cycling, you do that. You have to look at there's so much involved in transport. It's not just as simple as building a road. That's only, like I said, 12% of the commuters are using for private cars. Why don't you talk to the other percentage? The other is 78% or so. They're in buses, taxis, buses, tricycles, motorcycles, all of these things. So you have to find ways where you can maximize each space to get the most movement out of people. That's all it's about. Don't restrict them. Sometimes when you get into a car, you are restricted in most parts of the city. It's like walking around with a 100-pound maleta. You don't know where to put it. You are restricted with your movements, ironically, because of your car, which is supposed to give you freedom. But when you're in a congested city and you can't park it and you can't move around because of the traffic, it becomes a liability. That's what he's trying to solve. And that's what we hopefully can spend a little bit more time next time talking about. So till then, take care of yourselves. Stay safe. Stay sane. Be kind to one another. And we'll catch you again next week. This is Tito James. There's X, Y, and Z in the background. Bye, guys. See you later.
Fancy meeting you in my internet. Couldn't help but notice your smile, while everybody else around us is surfing about. Can we just stop and chat a while? Get away from these gray and boring, lonesome days of our quarantine. Early yet to say what lies ahead. It's just the first day of the rest of our lives. Love could be waiting at the end of this quarantine. Let's stop and talk a while. Let's stop and talk a while.